Hey guys, I'm so excited for today. I am waiting for my gorgeous co-host that I'm going to invite in right now, Dr. Olivia Audrey. Let's see where she is. Okay. And today we are going to be talking about how to get back. How to get your power back. Are you so excited for this? Because I am, and I can't wait. There's so many exciting things. There is our gorgeous girl, my co-host.
Hello.
Hello. And
Hello.
amazing.
I'm having some
Olivia
technical
Audrey.
difficulties.
That's okay. I have difficulty every week.
It's
Every
always
week.
it's always something. It's not difficult, okay? It's no, it's fucking difficult actually to like exist in this world with these things. But I'm good now. I'm great now.
Oh my God. You and I insist that there's Mercury retrograde going on all the time, and we're like, it is in our world.
My life is a fucking Mercury retrograde.
Oh my God, guys. So say where you're from. Today we're going to be talking about how to get your power back. And
Yes.
We're going to be going into this. This was a divine message that we needed to share.
Yes,
Let us know where you're from and let us know what questions you have pertaining to your life about getting your power back. Are there areas where you're feeling disempowered? Post in the comments. Let us know, and we're here to support you. Loving the glasses. Oh my, wait, hold the phone. Hold the phone.
Holding.
Are we the same person?
We are the same person.
Are we the same person? And did we buy the same ones? I think
we actually did. Which I think we should actually do some digging on were we separated at birth.
I really, honestly, and thank God I finally found you.
I know.
You complete me.
My jelly.
You're
legit
the jelly
to my almond butter.
Completely.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yes, power. It was something that just sort of came to me, but it's actually a question that we get asked a lot. So a lot of what you may be feeling, if you're feeling stuck or if you're feeling like you're in a space in your life where there's nothing you can do or you feel helpless, essentially it feels like you lost your power, but that's actually never the case. That's actually never the reality of what's going on. It may feel that way. It may feel like you're very disempowered, but it's just because you may have momentarily adjusted the way that you perceive the things that are happening to you. And we're going to help you figure that out today. So Melissa, you're kind of the guru of all of that. And you're someone that you are one of the most badass women that I know. And one of the things that you give to women and to people is to help them remember their power. So what are your tips? Say I'm someone that comes to you and I'm like, you know what? I'm in this relationship and it sucks. And I'm in this job and I'm just using this as an example. I really love my life, but relationship sucks, job sucks, family sucks. Sort of like all of these things are happening to me. I don't know how to respond. What is the first thing? Take me from square one. How do you approach that? Because for some people, it feels really insurmountable and it just feels like life is happening to them. And they've sort of forgotten that life is really happening with them or as a result of their thoughts and their attitude. Attitude is everything. What would you say to me?
So first off, guys, I love you all. And it's just, I feel so grateful to be here with you all. Number one, okay, so no one can take your power unless you give them your power. No situation can disempower you unless you allow it to, whether that's family, work, coworkers, loved ones, partners, yourself. So whenever we're looking at where we're disempowered, I really want you to look at what are your beliefs around those things. There's 4 simple fundamentals that I teach. So I teach wholeness. I am a wholeness coach. Wholeness is bringing you back to the truth of who you are before you ever thought you were less than, whether due to a number on the scale, a trauma, or any limiting belief. Because we are all just a culmination of projection, society, culture, family dynamics, and what other people said we should be and do, and what we started looking at and creating identities around. So it's about stripping that away and really going, okay, what is it that you want? So whenever we're disempowered, really recognize, where have you allowed your power to be taken? So that's first and foremost. Then really looking and going, okay, so let's say it is with love, or let's say it's your work situation. I would take time, and I take time each morning to ground and be very intentional. I tell all of my clients and all of you here, anyone in my community, script out the experience and the result that you desire. Actually put a pen to paper. There's power in your pen. You're going to hear me like I'm a broken record.
But it works.
It works. And so take time and write out. When you actually get intentional and declare what your desire is versus haphazardly just going, right? Like, what's that quote? Fail to plan, plan to fail. It's not, I want to control so much. We want to just go, this is the desire on my heart. This is what I want. This or something better. You know, this or something better, universe, God, source, power. And so you get to decide. But when you don't, and you don't get intentional, and you don't get clear, and you just are like, oh, well, whatever happens, whoever gets picked for this, or if whoever gets the promotion, or whatever that thing happens with me and my partner, it's like, no, be intentional. How do you want the conversation to go? Do you want that raise? What do you want things to be? So script it out, be intentional, and know that you are constantly co-creating your experience based off of your frequency, your vibration, your beliefs. We are energetic beings. So what you're putting out, everything that you're experiencing is a mirror. So if you feel like nothing is working out for you, how often is that your story, right? Like I was talking with a client yesterday, and we were talking about online dating, and she's like, you know, it's just the same thing as before. And I said, yeah, honey, but you went into this already like, I get rejected. No one responds to me. This is a sucky experience. There's no one good online. I can't date during COVID anyway. I'm like, you already had like 50 million reasons why this wasn't going to work when you went into it. Change the narrative. So when we are constantly in the victim energy of this isn't working for me, that isn't working, look back and go, what was my view around it? What was my belief system? What role did I play in having this come up? And if everything is a mirror for me, then what is this mirroring back to me around my mindset, my belief systems, and what do I believe that I can have? Because if you don't believe that you're worthy and deserving of good things, you don't believe that good things happen to you, if you repeat constantly, oh, I always have the worst luck, or this always happens, or I never get picked for this, or this, then you're actually creating that experience. And the best part is you can change it on a dime. So that's what I would say. What about you?
You know what? As you're talking, I'm just remembering the expression that we've all heard it, right? And I'm sure I've even used it a couple of times myself. If it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any at all. And now I hear that, and it's like a visceral cringe.
I've actually never heard that.
You've never heard that? Well, maybe
No.
it's like a New England thing, which there are many of those, some of which I will not repeat, but it's so sort of like, you know, the takeaway is, oh, well, I'm like destined to fail. You know, if it weren't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any at all. And it's just sort of something that people say very like tongue in cheek, but now I hear it and it's like a visceral reaction. Like, don't do that. Don't say that, you know, or hearing people say, what else could go wrong? I'm like, oh, don't say that ever, you know, like don't open that up. I think for a lot of people, there may be a misunderstanding or a disconnect because we talked last week about not having expectations. So how do we plan without adding in expectations to that? Because those are two very different things, but it's also really important that we distinguish between the two of them. And my opinion is that expectations are when you are attached to an outcome. And when you script something or when you're intentional about it, it means that you trust. You're not, you know, there's a difference in expecting something because there's an element of, I hope this happens, but I'm unsure if it does. Whereas you're scripting something and you're saying, I have full faith that this is the reality that I'm creating. And it almost comes from, an unemotional perspective, if that makes sense. It comes sort of from a detached perspective, and I don't want you to misconstrue that, because it's not detached in the way of like, who cares? It's detached in the way of the certainty and the surety that when you go to a restaurant and you order a cheeseburger, you do not expect that that waiter is going to bring you out a milkshake, unless you also ordered a milkshake. But you know, it's that certainty, that surety of, this is what I've stated, this is what I've created. But the thing that we always talk about, and that I really want to hammer home in this space that we've created, is the worth piece. Because of course you don't, you can't believe, and you can't script anything positive. You can script negative stuff all day long, and you will probably create that, but you can't script anything positive unless you've really done the work on worth, on I expect it, I deserve it, and I fully intend for this to be it. Unless you really feel
Wait,
as though
I just want to pause and tell people, expect, believe, and deserve, right? Are those the three you just said?
Yes.
I'm taking notes on you because you're so freaking brilliant.
What?
And I want everybody to get that. I don't want anybody to miss the brilliance coming from a co-host.
Oh my God. Well,
okay, sorry, I didn't mean to mess with your flow of consciousness.
But it's good, because I won't remember some of this stuff. But so expect is different than expectations. So expectations are, again, just to recap, just to circle back around, as they say, is when we are hoping for something, but we don't quite believe it. Expecting is the certainty, the surety. And I want you to go back in your mind to that analogy of ordering something in the restaurant. And we've all had the experience where we order something and they don't bring it out. What is your response? You're surprised, you're shocked. This isn't my, that's why, and I know you've had this experience, when you've ordered a cheeseburger, let's just say, and the waiter comes to your table with fettuccine Alfredo, you stop him right there. You're like, nope, that's not mine. You can do that same thing in life, by the way. You can do, and people will call you difficult, and people will call you high maintenance. And guess what? None of it matters, because they don't have to live with the life that you've created, and vice versa. So make that none of your business. But when the situation, or the waiter in this case, starts to bring that into your life, you can be like, sorry, I'm gonna stop you right there. That's actually not how this will go. And you know, that doesn't mean that you're not adaptable. That doesn't mean that you're not reasonable. It just means that you have such a certainty and a surety and a groundedness that positive things are going to happen to me. I deserve to have positive things happen to me. That will occur, as Melissa said, that outcome or something better. And quite often it's something better. And so I have really learned to leave that open, because we can get so rigid, right? And this is what I want. It has to be this person. It has to be this whatever job, you know, and 1000% of the time the universe comes along and it's like, really? Why would you settle for that? Why would you downplay yourself? Why would you lowball yourself in that way? And I've been constantly amazed at the fact that what the universe brings in, I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, you've had that experience as well, unless we've talked about this.
That's why I'm like taking notes on, you said something, and well, I love everything you said, because it's so spot on. Letting go of control. So if you're here, then I know that control is something that you like to have.
A little bit.
If you're with us, then control, and it's served you in a lot of ways, right? Like, it's given you a lot of success. It's helped you to achieve great things, but it also, as Liv so beautifully shared, can block you from being open to what the universe has. And you've heard this many times, very often, that what you want may come to you in a different form than what you'd expect, but it will still come, right? Mm-hmm. And so really looking at that and going, oh, okay, right? Like prime example. I was at acupuncture yesterday, and the woman that does my acupuncture was like, you know, we were talking, and it's so important that, just an FYI, that whoever you have that facilitates any sort of healing work on you, what their intention is, and that they're very much aligned as well, because intention is everything, and then being aligned supports your experience, right? So I share that with you. I just a little extra tidbit. But she said to me, I said, how did you get started? Because I wanted to know her intention, right? So I'm like, how did you get started? Blah, blah, blah. And she said, you know, I wanted to actually be a heart doctor, you know, like when I was a child. And she said the most beautiful thing was I, you know, ended up going back to school later in life. I felt very called to acupuncture. I loved the healing properties and blah, blah, blah. But she said to me that one day she was working on one of her clients, and they said to her, you're a heart doctor for me. Like, you've healed my heart. And she just got, I had chills when I say this. And so she said to me, it's so interesting that that was what my dream was. And I realized, without even realizing it, that I had actually become the very thing that I wanted and had dreamed of being as a child. It just looked different. And her client actually got her a little like desk thing that said heart doctor, right? So I share this with you because just to piggyback off of what Liv was so beautifully sharing about, you know, it's this or something better. We always want to preface that, and we want to let go of control. So it's great to have a plan, but open up to the divine plan. The divine plan will always be that much juicier. And you really want to understand that there is a level of divine connection that's so much more aware of all of your dreams and desires on your heart and already knows what's meant for you and there for you. That's so much greater than what the human mind can even comprehend, and it will guide you. So we always want to open up to that. And in letting go of control, it's the hardest thing, because it's like, yeah, but if I let go of control, then it's not going to happen. And it's this whole thing around understanding feminine energy, where it's like, oh, well, if I just sit back, then nothing's going to happen. And I must make it happen. And I must effort, and I must strive, and I must put forth and achieve. And that's very masculine, and it supports in many ways. But what's beautiful about feminine energy, and all men and women all have feminine and masculine energy. What's so beautiful about the feminine energy, it's a receptive energy. It's a creative energy. It's a allowance energy. It is I just need to be grounded in my worth, grounded in my desires, grounded in my knowing that I'm deserving of them. And in that energy, I will attract in, right? That's when we're like a magnet and a frequency. We're on that vibration where we don't have to sit and go, oh my God, I need to make 20 cold calls in order to get it. It's like, oh, that's right. I sat and I got clear, and I was guided to the right people that I should reach out to that are an immediate yes. And then I don't have to. So it's just an example business-wise. And I think that when it comes into really that co-creative process and taking your power back, it's about really being grounded and knowing that all of the power always lies within you and your desires, and then really being grounded in that and knowing that it's inside of you, and knowing that your connection to it is the greatest thing that will always support you in what you want. So you're never need to feel nor experience being disempowered.
I couldn't agree more. And I loved what you said about the heart doctor. That's such a great example of just how we can have the best laid plans, and sort of the universe and life comes in and is like, well, yeah, okay, we get the gist of it, but we're actually going to give you this instead. And it's sort of like, I imagine it playing, well, there's a handful of game shows that are like that, but essentially it's like, let's find door number 1, 2, and 3. And you go, oh my gosh, I want the red Corvette, you know, or whatever. And then if you would have waited and just been like, well, universe, bring me whatever you think is best for me. There's like a Lamborghini, or there's like, you know what I mean? Or there's like a red Corvette and $1 million in a suitcase, like that sort of a thing. So it's really about, and it's hard. It's a hard thing, because we're human beings, and because we, especially if you're type A, if you're successful, if you're driven, you want to sort of take the bull by the horns, and you just want to like kill it and crush it. And we do that in so many ways in our day that offer reward in that, right? So you go to the gym and you work hard and you get the physical reward and all of those things. And in your job, you do the same and you get the physical reward. So it's really hard to switch that off in our brain and go, okay, but when it comes to energy, when it comes to what I want to attract, what I really want to bring into my life, it's not the same. It's not the same. And there's a lot to be learned and absorbed from that. So if there's one area in your life that you can sort of flip that switch and be like, you know what? I don't chase, I attract. I don't chase, I attract. And you picture yourself this like, this is a little bit stupid, but I actually love it. Do you remember those bug zapper lights? You must, right?
Yeah.
So like, I picture myself like a bug zapper light, and the bugs are just like, although I don't want to attract bugs, but you know what I'm saying? Like whatever it is that I want to attract, it will resonate with you and it'll be gravitated towards you. And that's really the way that it works. So if there's one area in your life that you can sort of calm down a little bit, or you can sort of relax, or allow the universe and allow your soul and allow God, sort whatever your belief system is, to do the legwork, it's that. And when you try, by the way, to be like, oh no, I'm going to overpower this over here, and I'm going to like strong arm, and I'm going to like beat this to the ground, guess what happens? You might enjoy what you have, but you'll have at some level resentment over the struggle that you had to put up for it. You'll start to tell the resentment story as well as the years go on, and that'll get old to people around you and yourself eventually as well. And also you're missing out on that door number 3. Like, what is the door number 3 for you? Wait for the door number 3. Just get in alignment. Get right with yourself. Relationships, fill up your cup so that when you meet that person, you're both pouring from full cups. You're not like, oh, you have a half empty cup here, I'll fill you up. No, it is so much better to just work on making sure that your cup is full, so that what it's like when 2 givers engage, it's magic, right? It's alchemy. You water each other. And it's the same in business, and it's the same in finance, and it's the same across the board, because energy is the currency of the universe. It's not quan, dinero, peso, dollar. It is frequency. It's energy. That's what we exchange with people. So that's it. That's my tangent.
No, I love it. And here's the other thing with that is love is the highest energy. So really correct when you, and it was so awesome when you said, because it's so true. And I was thinking of something in my own life. When we work really hard for something and then we have resentment around it, that's because it was a desire for, and you were driving from the ego versus driving from divine connection and inspiration, right? Clear intention plus inspired action will yield your desired result. But when we're driving and we're not connected, then even if we can go, oh no, I was successful. It's like there was success, but there was a lot of sacrifice. Correct. And you haven't let go of the sacrifice. There's still, but I'm still paying off those loans, and I'm doing this, or and that's when, but when you're really connected, even if it's still hard, listen, here's the thing that I want to say, because I'll have a lot of clients that will come back and go, well, Melissa, is this not meant for me? Because, you know, I didn't get this job, or they didn't pick up, you know, I pitched my live stream and it didn't happen, or I shed like my heart and he didn't want me, or she didn't want me. And here's the thing. It doesn't mean that it's just going to be this like effortless, like, oh my God. Now, sometimes it does just flow and everything's easy and doors just open and you're like, oh, I'm so aligned. But other times it's truly like, if you look at a lot of famous singers, actors, just artists in general, they were rejected 50,000 times over, right? Look at Sylvester Stallone. I mean, before he even got started, I mean, I can keep going. Denzel Washington, you know, Katy Perry, like there were so many that just had to believe so much in their vision and tie themselves so strongly, regardless of what people said about their looks, their weight, their talent. And I'm just using the arts just because everybody can relate to it. But I also, it's the same thing. So you have to just know that what I'm wanting is meant for me, because it's a desire in my heart that hasn't left me, which means it's intended. So never let somebody again take power from you. And if that means allowing, and I always say this when it comes to dreams and matters of the heart, if you're not grounded enough and you don't have enough strength and belief in it, please don't share it. Don't post about it on social media. If you don't believe that you can win the marathon, or you don't believe you're going to release the weight, or you don't believe, don't just go and be like, everybody says if I share it, then no. Let it incubate. Don't let other people's projections and their fears impact and detract from your dream. Let it incubate and allow it to come to fruition.
I love that. This has been one of the best episodes I think we've done. But I say that every week because there's really nothing better than spending time with you and with all of you.
Oh, here we are.
But I mean, I really I kind of fancy you as well. So.
Love you so much. Sorry, I was looking because a guy with a leaf blower literally
I see him.
Locked eyes with me and I was like, is he gonna open the door? So I was like, what is going on? So I don't want you to know.
That would have been it would have been the best episode that we've done because that's literally the universe. So you better go answer that. You better go find the man with the leaf blower, and I want to hear how it goes.
I mean, between him and a red cardinal and all the things. So guys, this was another epic episode of Cosmic Tea. And I know we're a day earlier. Normally we're Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. So make sure to meet us next week on Wednesday. And today we came in a day early because, we got things and sometimes we got to adjust.
Can I say, Melissa, can I say where you're going to be?
Oh,
in California?
Yeah.
Can I share that?
Yeah.
Oh, Melissa's going to be at the Oscars. Because
yes,
she's a big deal. And there's no sarcasm in there. Like, I have legitimate girl crush on Melissa. So hopefully she doesn't meet anyone and her and I will just get married and that will be the end of it. So
it's gonna be great. I'm gonna meet Liv's future husband there. And it's so happening, and mine as well.
Excuse me, can I just give you someone's number that I think you're gonna like?
Yes, I'm like, that's exactly what's gonna happen. I'm gonna be like, here's our picture. I'm having postcards made of your picture and all of your details.
Yeah, just put my email at the bottom. It's fine. That's very normal. That's very normal.
It's so normal. But guys, so first off, please let us know how you like this Cosmic Tea. Let us know any questions. DM us. Also, go to Liv's website if you're looking for meditations, affirmations, recipes, and more. Definitely check her out. If you want to get a free miracle mindset hypnosis, check out melissakathryn.com, Kathryn, and head over there. You can also just go to the links in our bios. And Liv, your website is?
It's my name, www.oliviaaudrey.com. Obviously, you can find us on Instagram. And we will be back next week on Wednesday.
We will see you next week. And Liv, we're going to be doing, we're going to be talking about her children's book.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So fun.
It's so fun and it's so cool. So you need to have that. And we're going to be talking about the inspiration and so much more about that. And your entire process and how you birthed this incredible creative endeavor that's going to support so many and just bring them so much joy. And I can't wait. Yes.
I love you. I love you. I love all of you. And this has been another episode of Cosmic Tea. We'll see you next week on Wednesday. Forget that it was Tuesday, but we will see you next week on Wednesday.
Yes. We love you guys. Share this with anybody and everybody who needs it. All our love.
Bye.